Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows. Who's your daddy? Book knowledge. Manimal. Which time zone? Missing links. And the Old West. Player one, start us. A book's backstrip covers the part that has this anatomical name. It's player one. That is correct.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one, choose again. Shakespeare wrote, "What's past is this introductory part of a book." Okay, player one.
Yeah!
Correct. You again, player one. Mulvaney, Nancy, 177. Birth of, 28. Education of, 213. As expert in creating these, 326 to 331. We're talking about indexes. Player one, choose again. A colophon is a section at the end of a book that often names this, like 10-Point Baskerville. Let's hear it, player one. Right. Player one, choose again. Entomological name for a blank page at the start of a book, suitable for inscriptions. Here's the correct response. Flyleaf. Player one, choose again. 24-star Kiefer. Here's what we wanted. Donald Sutherland. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Actress Jamie Lee. Here's the correct response. Tony Curtis. Select again. It's the Daily Double. You are currently in the lead. You need to select your wager. And the Daily Double clue. International pop star Enrique. Sorry. Here's what we were looking for. Julio Iglesias. Select again. Boxer turned dancer Laila. Here's what we were looking for. Muhammad Ali. Please pick again, player one. Emmy and Tony Award-winning actress Amanda. We're talking about Christopher Plummer. Player one, pick again. In a Rudyard Kipling story, one of these animals saves a family from a deadly cobra. It's player one. That is correct. Player one, choose again. A rhesus or a macaque? Here's the response we were looking for. A monkey. You get to pick again, player one. Of the three animals on Ontario, Canada's coat of arms, the one that fits the category. Here's the response we were looking for. A moose. Player one, back to you. The scarlet species of this tropical flyer is known for its brilliant plumage and strong voice. Player one? Yes. Player one, you pick again, please. We're sure you'll just love Ondatra zebethicus, this rodent. We're talking about the muskrat. Please pick again, player one. Vancouver, British Columbia. Here's what we were looking for. The Pacific. Player one, you pick again, please. Omaha, Nebraska. Yes, player one? Nope. Here's what we were looking for. The Central. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Santa Fe, New Mexico. We're talking about the mountain. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Reno, Nevada. We're talking about Pacific. You get to pick again, Player 1. Akron, Ohio. Here's the response we were looking for. The Eastern. You again, Player 1. Write up your blank oop. Okay, Player 1. Right. Player 1. Pick again. Ohio blank wedding anniversary. The correct response is silver. We return to you, Player 1. Break the blank of America. It's Player 1. That's correct. Please pick again, Player 1. Fall by the blank in. The correct response is wayside. Select again. News blank photography. Let's hear it, Player 1. Yes. You again, Player 1. Originally, this term referred to the man employed on a cattle train who prodded the cattle to keep them on their feet. Here's what we wanted. A cowpoke. You get to pick again, Player 1. This gunmaker's classic Peacemaker .45 revolver could be purchased by mail order for $17. Here's what we wanted. Samuel Colt. We return to you, Player 1. In March of 1879, this young killer met secretly with New Mexico Governor Lew Wallace to discuss a pardon. He never got it. We're talking about Billy the Kid. Select again. Someone in partnership with another was in these, probably from the French for hut. Here's the correct response. In cahoots. And the last clue for $1,000. 2 hours after he received a death sentence for killing Jesse James, the Missouri governor pardoned him. Here's the response we were looking for. Robert Ford. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Clues are worth $400 to $2,000 in these categories. Mythological words and phrases. Movies by characters. Playwrights. Daniel Boone. Hello, Delhi. And Science Guys. All right, if you're ready, it's Double Jeopardy time. Here's Sarah with the clue.
The delightful Champs-Élysées in Paris is named for this delightful resting place of the dead in Greek mythology.
Let's hear it, Player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the correct response. Elysium. Player 1, back to you. This adjective, meaning volatile or quick-witted, comes from the name of a swift messenger god. Player 1. Yep.
Yeah! Woo!
You get to pick again, Player 1. A shrewish woman, or a predatory mythological creature who is part woman, part bird. It's Player 1. Nope. Sorry. Here's what we wanted. Harpy. Select again. A very handsome young man is sometimes called this after the handsome youth loved by Aphrodite. Here's the correct response. Adonis. You get to pick again, player one. You may have this small but crucial weakness even if you weren't dipped into the river Styx by your mother. We're talking about Achilles' heel. Select again. 1984. Dr. Peter Venkman, Dr. Egon Spengler, Gozer. Here's the response we were looking for. Ghostbusters. Player one, you pick again, please. 1995. Longshanks, Princess Isabel, Robert the Bruce. Here's what we were looking for. Braveheart. Player one, back to you for our next selection. 1974. Bart, Lily von Stoop, Governor William J. Lepetamain. We're talking about Blazing Saddles. Player one, you pick again, please. 1964. President Merkin Muffley, General Buck Turgidson. Here's what we wanted. Dr. Strangelove. Player one, back to you for our next selection. 2011. Gary, Mary, Kermit. Yes, player one? That is correct. Player one, pick again. A 1934 New York City taxi driver's strike led him to write Waiting for Lefty, the first of his plays to be produced. We're talking about Clifford Odets. You get to pick again, player one. This Shakespeare contemporary is remembered for Dr. Faustus and for getting stabbed to death. Okay, player one. You got it. Player one, choose again. This Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright was related to John Sevier, the first governor of the volunteer state. Here's what we were looking for. Tennessee Williams. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Public disgust over his play Ghosts caused this Norwegian to retaliate in his An Enemy of the People. Here's what we wanted. Henrik Ibsen. Player one, choose again. His father, James O'Neill, was a 19th century actor whose most famous role was the Count of Monte Cristo. Here's the response we were looking for. Eugene O'Neill. Player one, choose again. James Fenimore Cooper based this Last of the Mohicans character on Daniel Boone. Here's what we wanted. Natty Bumppo. Player one, pick again. Answer.
Yeah!
The first of the two daily doubles. And you're in the lead now. Player one, please select your wager. Answer this. In his poem Don Juan, this Englishman wrote 7 stanzas about Daniel Boone and his virile exploits. Nope. We're talking about Lord Byron. Player one, back to you. Cleared under Daniel Boone's direction in 1775, the Wilderness Road passed through this famous gap. Here's the correct response. The Cumberland Gap. We return to you, player one. In 1778, Daniel Boone was taken captive and adopted by Chief Blackfish of this Indian tribe. Player one? Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the correct response. The Shawnee. Player one, pick again. Ticklicker was Daniel Boone's nickname for this indispensable possession. Here's the correct response. His rifle. Player one, you pick again, please. Something smells fishy. Must be this chopped fish patty mixed with crumbs and eggs and served cold in a jellied broth. Here's what we wanted. Gefilte fish. Player one, back to you for our next selection. It's a good night for one of these Jewish turnovers with a meat or potato filling. It's player one. Is correct. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Someone pass me this noodle pudding filled with raisins and nuts. Here's the response we were looking for. Kugel. You again, player one. I'll have one of these city omelets stuffed with ham, onions, and green peppers. Yes, player one? Good for you. Player one, choose again. I think I'll just have a nosh. A bagel, cream cheese, and the Nova Scotia type of this. The correct response is lox. Select again. In 1855, Napoleon III swung a deal, arranging for this man's appointment as physicist at the Paris Observatory. We're talking about Jean Foucault. Player one, you pick again, please. Answer, the second daily double. You are in first place. How much? And the clue. Until his death in 1907, this chemist headed the Weights and Measures Bureau in St. Petersburg, Russia. That's it. Player one, back to you. This German physicist won a 1918 Nobel Prize for his quantum theory. Yes, player one? Ooh, sorry. That's in. Here's what we were looking for. Max Planck. You again, player one. In 1920, he was named director of the Institute of Theoretical Physics in Copenhagen. Here's the correct response. Niels Bohr. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. His grandfather, Erasmus, argued in favor of evolution 60 years before he took up the cause himself. Okay, player one. Is correct. You will participate in Final Jeopardy right after this. Here comes the Final Jeopardy, players. The category is this. Authors. So, what's your wager? Our Final Jeopardy clue today is, in 1949, he wrote, "If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever." What did you put as your response? With that correct response, you will gain. You've come out ahead as our champion, player one. Good game, everyone, and thank you so much for playing.